topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
This is Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. Do you want to live a more fulfilling life? Do you want to live your legacy and achieve your personal, professional, and financial goals? Well, coming up on Divya Parekh's Beyond Confidence, you will hear real stories of leaders, entrepreneurs, and achievers who have stepped into discomfort, shattered their status quo, and are living the life they want. You will learn how relationships are the key to achieving your aspirations and financial goals. Moving your career or business forward does not have to happen at the expense of your personal or family life, or vice versa. Learn more at www.divyaparekh.com, and you can connect with Divya at contact@divyaparekh.com. This is Beyond Confidence, and now here's your host, Divya Parekh.
Good morning, listeners. I can share with you that I'm very, very grateful for y'all, because as Thanksgiving kicked off the holiday season, actually the holiday season got kicked off since Halloween with all the candies and all that. And the fall, there's just something different in the air that brings us more joy, and it makes us think about the important things in life. And gratitude and kindness is so important in our lives, and those are like some of the values that I really, really cherish. So I want to share that I'm really thankful for each and every one of you for being part of our family. And I'm thankful to each and every one of you for getting our books, whether it is The Entrepreneur's Garden or it is Expert to Influencer, because your getting the books not only helps you live a better life and impact others, it helps me get my message across, because I wrote those books from my heart and from my soul so that they would make a difference in your life and help you live the life that you desire and deserve. And also, we take partial profits from the books and give it to global entrepreneurs at kiva.org. And I want to invite you to think about kindness, just 1 hour every month. Give it to someone with no strings attached. So it's so important. And today we are going to be talking about kindness. So let's bring on our guest. Welcome, Beth.
Good morning, Divya.
Good morning. So, Beth, do you recall a moment from your childhood, or do you recall a person who left a mark on you and you still have it in your heart till this day?
Yes, Divya. Thank you again for having me. And just, I'd like to say, when I was a little girl, I remember that this is a family story. And so everyone is going to laugh when they hear me telling this story again, because I tell it all the time, because it had a big impact. But when I was a little girl, I lost my rabbit. It unfortunately was neighborhood dogs attacked the pen, and we didn't know what happened to my rabbit, if it was killed or if it ran away. And the winter came, and I never forgot my bunny. And I can remember driving with my mother and my brother in the car, and I looked out the window and I said, spring was coming, and I said, oh my gosh, there's Chestnut. And my mother said, that's not Chestnut. You've just been thinking about that bunny too much. And I said, no, turn around. And Mom said, no, we're not turning around, but on the way home, you can take another look. So on the way home, we took another look, and sure enough, there was my long lost bunny, Chestnut, after the winter, sitting there happily looking at the cars go by underneath a tree. And we brought Chestnut home, and we later found out, through the kindness of people that we didn't know, they fed Chestnut all winter, and they knew that Chestnut was a domesticated bunny because Chestnut was white and brown. And so it was the unexpected kindness of strangers that brought my beloved pet back to me one spring. So I never forgot that kindness.
And it is such a beautiful story that, and it's so important. It doesn't matter, adults may think, oh, it's just a bunny, but for that little girl, that bunny's everything, and we don't realize it. And as you mentioned, through the unexpected kindness, Chestnut survived. It's such a beautiful story, and I love stories with happy endings. So, a lovely story. So, as you grew up, how were the times with Chestnut?
So the times were great with Chestnut. And I must say that, looking back as an adult to that story and other stories, um, acts of kindness really of people I knew and people I didn't know really made it a big impression upon me. And so much so that, and these were lessons that then, we were taught by our parents and our teachers and in our community to share this kindness with others, the joy that we feel when we receive the kindness, to be sure to pass it along to others. And that's a message that I did carry in my life. And then when we had kids, I thought, boy, it's our responsibility, really our duty, to pass this message along, what we've been taught, to teach others to, think about, focus on, and do the same thing. And that is share kindness with others.
Yes, so powerful. So, as you grew up, Beth, where did your life take you? Did you have any specific interests?
So where did my life take me? Well, believe it or not, I'm from Sugarloaf, Pennsylvania. It's near Hazleton. That's northeastern Pennsylvania. And my life took me to Canada. I now live outside of Toronto and with my wonderful husband, and we're blessed to have 2 children. So my journey of kindness from childhood, then to when we had our own children, the dots connected, in practicing kindness, and also I think with my current understanding of the world, and sometimes frustrated by what's going on and feeling overwhelmed by negativity, taking memories from the past combined with responsibilities in our future, and then trying to create a better world for our kids. They all combined and resulted in our family tradition, which is adding an ornament to a Christmas tree by doing a kind act. So my
Oh,
past
I
really
love that.
connected. The past really connected with the present, and hopefully even to the future. But yes, it's adding an ornament to a Christmas tree by doing a kind act. So it started out as our family tradition, and we would put a construction paper tree on our kitchen cabinet and add an ornament when one of us did a kind act. And our goal was to have the tree completed by December 25th. And again, this was combining things that I had been taught. It wasn't rocket science, what my husband had been taught, but we wanted to practice it and emphasize it, with our children. So we got a lot of positive feedback, and people wanted us to share the activity with others. And 16 years went by, and I would say that we are reluctant entrepreneurs because we didn't jump at the opportunity. We really considered, our options and what we were doing, but we decided to
So,
go for it. And
right, that is amazing. So, tell us some of the kindness stories that you personally and your family did, and then hung those ornaments, because that will give, with the holiday season, it will give our listeners and viewers a lot of different ideas.
yes, I'm happy to do that. So I'd like to say one thing as a mother, what I really appreciated is that no matter what our age, everybody can do something kind. So it was a real equalizer. So I'd like to say that we started to look at it as a family in three ways: what we could do in our home, what we could do in our community, and what we can do in our world. And it really gave us a chance to talk about and focus on, our game plan. So in our home, it might be something like emptying the dishwasher when it's not your turn, calling an elderly relative who might be feeling a little lonely. And so those are two things that our young children could do. And then my husband would come home from work and he would explain how he took extra time with a fellow employee to explain a task that needed to be completed when extra time was, required. And so we had a chance to celebrate in our home, at the end of the day, different things that we encountered during our day. And it might also be, with myself, the next circle of giving would be how could we impact our community? So we would, go through our closets and find some clothes that we no longer were using, and we would donate them to our local Salvation Army. Or in Canada, we have Diabetes Canada. They take clothing. So we each had something, tangible we could offer. We also would go through our kitchen cabinet together and get donations together for the food bank. And we'd be sure to drop off donations for our food bank patrons. And then also we got involved with a recycling of magazines, magazine literacy. So we would pick up magazines from our local dentist's office, from our library, and we would bring them to the food bank and have those magazines be enjoyed by patrons, to improve their children's literacy skills and enjoyment during the holiday season. So we found, easy ways in our community to give. And then finally, how do we impact our world? And everybody, I'm sure, might have different wonderful ideas. The way we came up with was taking a closer look at charities that we could give to. And that would be, maybe foregoing an ice cream cone or a candy. And we had a little bank that we would collect money. And then, my husband and I would make the donation on behalf of our kids, but we wanted to realize that there are children all over the world and families that needed help at Christmas time and throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. You're
So,
so right on. You're so right on about that.
so
Like, I remember doing this with my kids, that like what we would do is, it was called Christmas in a Shoebox. And so some we would purchase. And what we would do is like, okay, this is whatever money you get, like whether it's gift cards or whatever you have. So we would go to, whether even if it's small things, we would go and purchase based on whatever money they had, but like they were spending the money to buy the gifts. And when kids do that, like going and shopping for other people, it just brings such a different joy. Yes, we buy gifts for ourselves, we buy gifts for our families and friends, but doing that, and it was surprising, like initially, like in our first year, we did that for a few years, and then the organizer had stopped doing it. But like during those years when we did that, initially we were not able to fit in a whole lot of things in that box. But then we found that, we could take so many different things and fit in, and then that whole shoebox became filled with treasures for a child. And one of the other things, it's just, you don't know who's going to open, but just imagining a child getting that and finding little treasures and making that day just, it's, those make such beautiful memories, because even today it just makes my heart swell with love and compassion and like just such wonderful joy that you're able to bring to somebody's life. So you talk about, right? You mentioned about 3 dots. So in the 3 dots is your own personal family, correct?
Yes.
And what are the other 2? I know you mentioned community.
Oh, yes. When I was talking about the 3 dots, Divya, may I just say this? I was really listening and enjoying your story, about your shoebox. And the one thing I want to mention that I think is a great lesson to reteach or think about at the holiday season is that there is such joy in giving. And, in today's world, I know it's a lot. I like to get Christmas presents too. We like to receive, and there's tremendous joy in receiving. But, when you talk about your heart swelling with, that feeling and the feeling of happiness, there's such tremendous joy in giving that, you know, um, many people have said it throughout history better than I can say it, but there's such joy in giving as well as receiving, to bring happiness to your holiday season. And the final thing, I just want to say that we're no experts in our family. I think sometimes the kids laugh when they hear this story because I think most of the time we were really hustling to get enough ornaments on our Christmas tree by December 25th. So it wasn't always easy going. It's something, you have to focus on. But in terms of the 3 points, it's just that the 3 points were that in Christmas that we were taught that it's the season of giving and as well as receiving. And with children, it's something that we have to all practice together. And then finally, for our world and our future, we have a chance, each of us, to be a hero and change our world for the better by
Right.
doing
So
these
what I'm
little acts of
hearing,
kindness.
yes,
So
so what I'm
we
hearing
are
is 3
empowered.
things, right?
Yes, those are the 3
You're
things.
talking home, you're talking community, and then you're talking world, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So when you built that Christmas tree, how tall was it?
So, a lot of people ask that question, Divya. So I would say it was about 24 inches high and 12 inches across. And sometimes our ornaments that we cut out were bigger than other ornaments if we were seemingly someone wanted to take up more room. But if we wanted to, you could put your name on the ornament or a little drawing or a little description of what you did. But, in answer to your question, it was about 24 inches high and 12 inches wide. And now, if you do visit our website, we do offer a free tree and 39 ornaments to do your own Christmas tree of kindness. So we
Mm,
encourage everyone to decorate a tree this year and help us change the world for the better.
absolutely. And so tell us, you mentioned about you being reluctant entrepreneurs. Let's kind of visit that. So share with us that, tell us more about it, that how did you become reluctant entrepreneurs and how is that working out for you?
So, Divya, we didn't know how to share the activity with others.
Mhm.
Although it started as the paper craft activity that we really enjoyed, we thought, how do we share that with others? And then we thought, well, we could do a craft somehow, but something that would be agreeable and attractive to everyone was difficult for us to envision. So then we thought, well, what does everybody have? Everybody has apps now. So we do have a free app, and it's called Christmas Tree of Kindness. And that's where we started. We started with the free app, and you can download a virtual tree, and you can either decorate it yourself or you can invite loved ones living down the street or around the world to join your tree. And everyone can work cooperatively and decorate a tree together. And at the end, everybody gets a star for the treetop and Christmas music. So to make my answer shorter, it started with the free app. Then people wanted the printable craft activity. So then we added the printable craft that's available for free as well from the website.
So
And
tell
then
us
the
before
icing,
we continue, you mentioned
yes.
about the app. Where can people find your app?
Yes, christmastreeofkindness.com. You can find the free app and the free craft. And then the
Wonderful.
icing on the cake as an entrepreneur was to wrap everything together. We have a storybook,
Hmm.
and that's also available from the website, christmastreeofkindness.com. So it's really can be a new family tradition.
Oh, I love that. So tell us as to when you talk about the storybook, how did the idea come to you and what's the book about?
Thank you so much. So the storybook is about a young evergreen tree named Spruce and a puppy friend, Holly, and how they decide to create the first Christmas tree of kindness. And they're told that they can't do it by the
Hmm.
local snowman, which I think where that comes from is just memories from, my childhood, our childhood. Many times you're going to find snowmen in your life that tell you that you can't do something. And you have to learn how to, even as a young child, to think about it and give it a try and say, yes, you can. So anyway, Spruce and Holly decorate the first Christmas tree of kindness. And lo and behold, the news spreads from tree to tree and town to town. And soon everybody's decorating Christmas trees by doing kind acts and adding an ornament. And they really do change the world for the better. And, it's such an important and beautiful lesson that we were taught. And now we're resharing the story in a different way, that each of us really can make our world a better place, one kind act and one ornament at a time, and working together, with the news spreading all across the globe, we really can have a tremendous impact.
Mm. So if you were to take these lessons in the life of an entrepreneur, how would you translate it?
Let's see. How would I translate into the life of oh boy. Well, I would say it's interesting as an entrepreneur that you constantly have to be open to receiving feedback from your customers and accommodate them. Because what we found was our umbrella kept growing, or our community kept growing bigger and bigger, and there were different ways to, enjoy the activity. So I would say the biggest lesson is to learn from your customers. We started out as an app, and then they wanted the printable, and then we had a story to share. And actually, when the story was first included in the app, and when people heard the story, they wanted an illustrated version of the story. So, our journey continues. I know you can't do everything that the customer wants, but at the same time, I really, and I think we feel, our Christmas Tree of Kindness team, that our customers have really, helped us enhance the whole experience.
Mm, definitely. And as an entrepreneur, it's just amazing. Like if you're able to touch your customer and if your customer are giving you feedback, it's so important to listen to it because that's how the word spreads. And it gives me an idea that if you're an entrepreneur, you touch so many different lives. So first of all, if you're an entrepreneur, you're most likely working with several people. So think about you could spread the kindness to them. And if you're bringing that compassion as a leader to anybody's life, regardless whether it is somebody's watching you, not watching you, it's just doing that right thing and doing that kindness act. When you're doing it, you're bringing joy to your life. And I would love to share a story. So, one of my clients, an entrepreneur, a very, very dynamic woman, very A type, ambitious, and she went from like 5 figures to 6 figures, making really good money, and wanted to hit 500,000 within the next couple of years. And then what happened was she was hitting all of that as we continued coaching together. And then she comes back, probably 3 or 4 months back before Christmas, and then says, "You know what, Divya? I have so much money in the bank. I feel good about it, and yet I feel empty. So I didn't say anything. We just sat there quietly for almost 5 minutes. She wanted me to say something, and I knew that the silence was very uncomfortable for both of us. And yet I held on to that silence. And she laughed and said, I see you're challenging me by being quiet. And she just opened up and started saying that, of course, I know what's missing. I'm not paying more attention to my family and friends. And it was so beautiful that she just opened up. And I'm very proud of her to say that she continued on with her journey of making money, because it doesn't mean that you cannot have both. She's a millionaire today. And as well as she's having that work-life harmony. I mean, of course, there are going to be days when she doesn't have enough time for everything. And that's why I always say that, when you're thinking about balance, balance is not something that you're going to be able to achieve that, yep, every single day, got to have 50% here, 50% there. No, there will be days when you'll be putting in more time with family, like on a Thanksgiving day. There'll be days when you'll be putting in more time at work. So finding that harmony is so good. And what she started doing was just started bringing in kindness into her employees. And she didn't have to go far. And what she did was, the more work she was doing, she said that, rather than I doing all the work, I'm going to hire a couple more people. And lo and behold, surprisingly, her business even grew more. So building that culture as an entrepreneur, bringing that kindness, it's not only going to help you grow as much as you want, it will also help the employees. And as you mentioned, so you have talked about Christmas Tree of Kindness family. So tell us, who does your family comprise of? Is it just your family, or somebody else is also helping you out?
So please, so we have my family, my husband, Dan, and our children, Eddie and Rachel. I'm constantly asking the three of them for advice on different things. We have an illustrator named Lamb Quatch that we herald. He's wonderful. And I found him from my Woman's Network. And with the app, Julian Kahn, God bless him, we had to give him the pitch, and he was ready to give us a chance, and we worked through that together. And Divya, there are people that help me in my personal life, my childhood, my current friends, school friends from the kids, everybody, from all different walks of life. It's like kindness is our common ground, and they're willing to, give a helping hand, which we most appreciate. And Divya, when you talked about your friend and your story, that was really interesting and touching. And may I just say that on my story, I think is a little bit the reverse of hers, which is this. This year we have like 150 students that have agreed to do a Christmas Tree of Kindness. We have 150 families. We have 200 teachers. So that's like 500 trees times 25 ornaments. At a minimum, we hope to spread 12,500 acts of kindness. And that makes us feel, wonderful. But at the same time, the business model involved is, although we're really feeling well, we have to, and we're offering the app and the craft for free. So we're hoping that we knock it out of the park with the book to help. Last year we had a soft launch with the book, and this year I can't keep them enough in stock. So we're just hoping to have a banner year this year.
That's wonderful. See that your books are flying off the shelf. That is amazing. And so tell us, give us, let's say, if our audience is listening right now. So yes, they will go to your website, but tell us if anybody wanted to build that tree, give us all the details about that. Once they print out your tree, what needs to happen next?
Okay, so there are two ways to do it. There's either the printable version, which you can hang on a kitchen cabinet or your or a classroom wall. You can do a classroom tree, or each student can do a tree. And then you cut out the ornaments. And as each kind act is completed, you can either glue or tape your ornament to the tree. And then also the free app, when you download your virtual tree, you name your tree, pick the number of ornaments, and pick a background. And then when you create the tree, you can, at the bottom, there's a tutorial, that just a few screen tutorial to show you, so you're familiar with the app. But you can invite, like Divya, I could invite you to join my tree called Live Beyond Confidence. That could be the name of our tree. And I could invite you with a prepared message and passcode. So I could send it to your text or to your email. And then once you have that passcode, you go to the home screen of the app and copy and paste the passcode into the passcode section, and then you'll join the same tree. So then I can see when Divya picks a snowman, and I can see that Divya was kind to Beth by having a wonderful discussion, and she added a snowman. And then you can see, you can get a notice, Beth added an ornament. And then you can go in and see that I picked Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. And then you can see that Beth was nice to her local business person by supporting them in an effort.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I love that. I really love that, Beth. And so think about it. I love that, it's not just limited to family. You can invite your friends. And one of the ideas that's coming to my mind is that folks, just like you play fantasy football during the football season, maybe this could be something you could pick it up maybe a couple of times during the year. Have half year Christmas, just like we have half birthday celebrations, and invite your friends and celebrate that. So basically, the whole idea is that for one tree, what I'm hearing, Beth, is that have 25 acts of kindness. Is that correct?
Yes, Divya. And you can also select 10, 15, 20, or 25. And you can do as many trees as you would like on the app. You can do more than one.
So it's whatever your time allows and whatever it can be done. This is amazing. And one of the things I would also invite our audience to think about is when you're picking up a tree, think about acts of kindness towards yourself too. Because so many times with so many of my clients, what I'm hearing is that, oh, I wish I had done that. Oh, I felt I was so not seeing what was right in front of my face. So it's okay. Failing is okay. Failing, falling down. So one of the things I share is that failing is okay. Falling down is okay. What's not okay is giving up. So create a tree, and you could have multiple trees. Like Beth mentioned, have 2 trees, one with your friends and one with yourself. Whenever you're being hard on yourself, share a little kindness that it's okay if I did not anticipate this problem. Because in that compassion, you'll be surprised and amazed and blown away. The more compassion you show to yourself, the more compassion you'll be giving to others. So there we go. We have had few different ideas. And Beth, so tell us what is next for your Christmas tree of kindness.
Divya, people have said that with the Christmas tree of kindness, it is a great practice, to think about and focus on kindness and to take it to other times of the year, as you alluded to. So, we've been asked to do other holidays and
Yeah.
other seasons during the year. We do have Valentine's ornaments and St. Patrick's ornaments and Easter ornaments, but we've been asked to do Hanukkah bushes and palm trees and
I
4th of
love that.
July trees. And, so we have great ideas, and, we'll have to see where our journey goes. Other people want to see a stuffed animal, like a plush toy of Spruce and Holly. And so we'll just see where the journey, takes us.
Sure.
But there are tremendous possibilities.
Yeah, possibilities are endless, and bringing in that awe and wonder in your life opens up as to what could happen next. And I love that what you all are doing. And also, as you mentioned, you've already impacted so many people. I love that, like, so many students and teachers and families have signed up for your Christmas tree. I know that the whole month of December is still around, so I'm definitely going to be creating that and sharing it with friends and families. And listeners, I'll definitely be reporting back, maybe even sharing some of the stories that we talk about. So, do you have anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
No, Divya, thank you so much for hearing our story and being willing to try it, because really it is a joyful activity. And the joy that you give, I hope is the joy that you and everyone receives. And I think you will. And just, it's just wonderful for your support. And I hope you enjoy decorating your tree.
Oh, absolutely. It's it's an honor, Beth, to spread kindness, because we really need kindness. And I want to circle back to what you shared initially, that so many things are going in the world that do tear our hearts out and that do tear us apart. So there are two things, right? One, it impacts you personally, and one, it impacts us at the community level. So always remember the one thing that I feel, and there are things that bother me, and there are things that I may be in disagreement with my friends, but always remember the one thing that ties all of us together, even with our differences and disagreements and disliking. So, whatever is out there is our desire to be happy, our aspiration of living a good life, and bond of peace, love, and joy. That's something that connects all of us, that nobody can take it away from our humanity. So let's keep on spreading that joy and continuing that. So thank you for being here, Beth.
Thank
It
you,
was a
Divya. My
pleasure.
pleasure.
Absolutely. And thank you, listeners, for being part of our show and our family, because you know that we are a family. And because of you, we are able to share joy wherever we can. So continue being part of our family and share our podcast with different people. And if you have a moment or a minute, leave us a review, because the more we share, the more we share stories like pet stories, the more we can create a difference in the world. And thank you. Thank you for everything that you'll do for me and for our family, because when you do for somebody else, you are doing for the family, because a happy person makes another person happy. So thank you, listeners, and thank you, Juan, for making this show possible. And be well, be strong, and be well. Take care.
Thank you for being part of Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. We hope you have learned more about how to start living the life you want. Each week on Beyond Confidence, you hear stories of real people who have experienced growth by overcoming their fears and building meaningful relationships. During Beyond Confidence, Divya Parekh shares what happened to her when she stepped out of her comfort zone to work directly with people across the globe. She not only coaches people how to form heart connections, but also transform relationships to mutually beneficial partnerships as they strive to live the life they want. If you are ready to live the life you want and leverage your strengths, learn more at www.divyaparekh.com. And you can connect with Divya at contact@divyapark.com. We look forward to you joining us next week.